Joining us, head football coach at Wake Forest to start the hour, Dave Clawson. Coach.
Coach, what's up?
Hey, Coach.
Yeah. Hey, ready to get to Birmingham soon.
Well, look, we're waiting on you. Let me tell you, though, if you better hope and pray. I know you got a lot of snow there in North Carolina today. If even a cup of snow hits the ground here, we'll shut the whole place down.
Yeah, it's a full panic.
Well, that's not much difference here. Sometimes the threat of snow shuts everything down.
Coach,
I'm not used to that. I'm from Buffalo, New York. So.
Yeah. Coach, we had a new one today, freeze fog. That's something new for us.
Freeze fog.
Yeah.
Did you know this? I got a little tidbit for you, Coach. Did you know this is the second time that Wake Forest has played at Legion Field? Did you know that?
I didn't.
1949, Wake Forest played in the Dixie Bowl.
That was a while back.
How about that?
You know what? That'll be my pregame speech, guys.
Y'all remember in 49 when we came down here? So let's talk a little bit. Of course, you guys will be coming to Birmingham, and you have you yourself ever been here other than maybe recruiting or anything, Coach?
I have. I've been to Birmingham. I spent 1 year at the University of Tennessee, and they had a kind of a coach's orientation that every new coach had to go down to Birmingham in the SEC office and meet with Mike Slive. Oh. And so I was down there and spent a day, and then there was like a rules committee meeting part of it with football. So I have been to Birmingham, and I've been there recruiting, and again, we were excited to get invited back.
So I know this is your fifth year at Wake Forest, and we were talking about when you come down and play in a place like Legion Field, so much history, will you kind of find yourself maybe easing over to one of those goalposts and leaning up on it and getting your picture made?
Well, I will, because I mean that is a part of college football and the history, and it's just part of Americana. And I remember the second bowl game I coached in, I was in the Military Bowl, and we played in the old RFK Stadium up in D.C. Mm. And the lockers were not renovated, and I was sitting there thinking, you know what? About 40 years ago, Vince Lombardi or Tom Landry were sitting right here getting ready for a game. Uh-huh. And, to go down there and know that this is where Bear coached and Shug Jordan and how many great football coaches, and Bo Jackson played there, and Joe Namath played there, Kenny Stabler. Yeah, that for me, that is really, really a cool thing.
All right, so let's talk about the team a little bit. Obviously, you had to do few changes defensively on some changes here and there, and then you guys seemed to kind of turn it around. Defensively, it was a rough start, but you finished strong. What was the biggest – what happened defensively that made you guys so much better toward the end?
Well, I mean, we had a lot of things. This was one of those years injury-wise. We lost 13, 14 kids for the year. We lost 10 of our two deep on defense. We had 134 games in our two deep missed this year, and I think 100 of them were on defense. So in the beginning of the year, we struggled, and I made a change at our coordinator spot. And then we ended up playing some guys we didn't think would be playing, and then they got better. And so they were different players in November. I think our coaches did a great job. We really simplified the scheme and allowed our younger kids to play faster. And then the younger kids became better players November than they were in September when they were playing for the first time.
And Memphis is going to bring a lot of offense. So glad. I guess you're thinking
a lot.
Thank goodness.
My goodness.
We've made.
Yeah, holy cow! These guys are like fourth in the country, and they do a lot of different things. They're very well coached. They know what they're doing. The running back Henderson. I mean, he needs. We got to try to keep him under 2,000 in the first half.
Man,
and it's not just him though. I mean, they've got both. They really have three tailbacks, and of the three, the least one averages is about 6 yards a carry. The Pollard kid for them can do everything: receiver, slot, lead back, carry it. They have some wideouts. Coxey is 6'3", 200. I mean, this is a really, really good football team, and. They had UCF beat twice,
no doubt,
and just didn't close the deal.
Do you think their OC leaving? And last I heard, he would not be coaching in this game. That's going to Auburn. Will that be a disruption for them, and to what level?
I mean, I don't work at Memphis, but I know Coach Norvell is. I'm sure I don't know if he calls the offense or not, but I'm sure it's Mike's offense. And so I'm sure that's a loss that, Mike probably calls the plays now, and if he doesn't, he'll step in and he'll do a great job. It's his offense, and he ran it at Arizona State, and he's installed it, and I'm sure he'll be in good shape. So I can't see that being a big distraction. Now, they just lost their defensive coordinator yesterday, and I don't know if he'll coach in the bowl game or not. So I'm a little bit the kiss of death for coaches. This is the last 3 bowl games I've coached in. I've gone against an interim head coach.
Oh my goodness!
And so I thought for sure when we got to the Birmingham Bowl and we played Memphis, I thought for sure that. But it looks like Coach Norvell will still be there. But I didn't get the head coach, but 3 or 4 assistants.
Well, it's like somebody said, we've got Clawson on the schedule.
Everybody scattered.
Who's leaving? Well, the Birmingham, but you made a point about Memphis, and certainly coaches matter. I'm not trying to downgrade that. However, my dad is a retired football coach, and I remember him saying that it always seemed when he had great players, he was a better coach. So they still have the horses, so that's still going to be. I mean, the players didn't go with the coaches.
They're still there tackling and running.
So it's game 13. I mean, to me, if a coach would bail game 3 or game 4, that's tough. Game 13, you know what your scheme is. You know how you call things. Things are in place. The habits are established. Again, it's not ideal, but I can't see it having that great of an impact.
Coach, you had a tough schedule this year. You played Notre Dame and Clemson both. Give us a little insight on those teams also.
Yeah, they're both of them in the playoff. Give us your feedback on them.
And they play each other. I mean, this Clemson team, I think, is the best Clemson team that we've played in my 5 years here. I think Coach Sweeney and his staff did an incredible job. And I think, number one, they did a great job recruiting all those kids to come back for another year.
Yep.
And then just all the drama they dealt with early in the year with Trevor Lawrence and Kelly Bryant and all that. But they've just managed that whole situation masterfully. And they didn't beat teams in the ACC this year. They crushed teams. Right. I mean, I think Syracuse was the only game against them in conference that was even competitive. And they are really good. And on the flip side, we've played Notre Dame 3 times in my time here, and this was their best team. The Ian Book kid is a really productive, really smart player. Defensively, they're excellent. They do a great job. They've got really, really good corners. Their 2 corners are exceptional. Their 2 corners as a combination were as good as any pair that we played this year. And it'll be a great football game.
So you say, because you know this, the dig against Notre Dame, nobody can get that vision out of their mind of them stepping onto the field against Alabama and it looking like 2 different leagues. That Notre Dame isn't fielding a team like that. They've made those adjustments, and it looks like they have the type of players on the field, to your point, that this is the best team they've had of the 3.
This is, of the 3 we've played, this is the best team, and it's just because it's complete. The offensive line's not as good as it was a year ago, but it's still really good. Yeah. Their receivers are 6'5", 230 pounds, and they don't necessarily run by you, but they can body up. Yep. So they can take deep shots, and these guys just go over. Most corners can't go up and compete with the football with them. They've got a slot receiver that's really dynamic. He's very similar to the Renfro kid at Clemson. They've got a really smart quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, and they're good on defense. And the way these playoffs go, you just got to be better than them on one day.
That's right. It's a one-game deal.
It's a one-game deal, and there's games that we play in our league, and we had one this year. If we played a team 10 times, they'd probably get us 8. But that one night was one of those 2 times that we could get them, and that's the game. I mean, it's not a round-shaped ball. It bounces funny ways, and one-game deal. I mean, I think Clemson again is the best team that we've played in my 5 years here, and. But I would not be shocked at all if Notre Dame doesn't give them a great game, and I think it'll be a really good football game.
Talking to Wake Forest head coach Dave Clawson, looking forward to you being in our fine city where we do the show from coming up on December the 22nd at historic Legion Field, the Birmingham Bowl taking on Memphis. It'll be a great game. Thanks for being with us, Coach, and we appreciate the time. I know you're busy. Appreciate it very much.
Okay. Hey, thanks for having me on. Hopefully I'll get to meet you guys.
All right, we look forward to it. BirminghamBowl.com. I want to tell you the game's at 11 o'clock kickoff on December the 22nd. Tickets are available. BirminghamBowl.com. Something cool the Bowl's doing. If game tickets are only $30, and if you do an extra 10, you can add on the Magic City Pass, and that gets you admission to the Birmingham Zoo, Civil Rights Institute, McWayne Center, Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. And you know what? They need to add on here the Rick and Bubba studio.
They do.
They need
really
to add
do.
the studio.
Yep.
But you can see some of the big sites in Birmingham for only $10 more. Go to BirminghamBowl.com.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.